Aljamain Sterling wants Henry Cejudo to, quote-unquote, beg him for a title shot. UFC Bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling, who just beat Petr Yan twice, wants Henry Cejudo to beg for the title shot. We have Henry Cejudo putting out a tweet. Hey, Al Shitstain, sign the contract. I guess that's his nickname for Aljamain Sterling is now Al Shitstain. Sign the contract. After I knock you out, I'll put my gold medal around you so that you know what it's like to be a real champion. And then Aljamain Sterling right here. Truth is, I think you're all little herbs. How am I supposed to decide which herb to herb in the octagon? Help me out, Junior. Now, after that, he says, say please. He wants Henry Cejudo to beg for the title shot. He doesn't want Henry to say, all right, I want the title shot. I'm going to knock Aljamain Sterling out. The only way Aljamain Sterling is saying that he will accept a fight with Henry Cejudo right now is for Henry Cejudo to literally beg and say, please, Aljo, please, Aljamain Snoozling, please give me a title shot. I beg of you, Aljo. You're one of the greatest bantamweights of all time. A DQ win over Petr Yan and a split decision over Petr Yan after that. You're the greatest. I really want the title shot, Aljo. Please, that's what Aljamain Sterling wants from Henry Cejudo. And knowing Henry Cejudo, the king of freaking cringe, he'll do it. The king of cringe will do it. We all know this. So it's not like out of the realm of possibilities for Henry to go out there and literally beg for Aljamain Sterling. But you know Henry Cejudo, he's the triple C. He's the quadruple champion. He has people begging to fight him because he's the biggest money fight in all of MMA. So I don't know. I have a feeling this fight would make some good money. Henry Cejudo, Aljamain Sterling, it makes some good money. I know that. You got two of the cringiest fighters in the bantamweight division going at it. One's a jiu-jitsu guy, one's a wrestler. They both have decent striking. It'd be a good fight. It'd be a good fight for sure. But will the fight ever happen? I don't know. I hope it does. I mean, we might get Henry Cejudo, Petr Yan. Might get Henry Cejudo, Aljamain Sterling. I don't know what's going to happen here in this bantamweight division, but hopefully we get the fight. Aljo versus Henry Cejudo. Can't wait to see if this fight happens. Rogerio Bontorin released by the UFC after weight miss and fight cancellation. So there's been so many times Rogerio Bontorin has had, canceled fights, weight misses over and over and over again. I mean, his last fight, I believe it was with like Matt Schnell or something like that. His fights just keep on continuously getting canceled. Now, it's not like he's losing to the worst guys. Look at the guys he's losing to. Brandon Royval by split decision. Kai Kara France by knockout right there in a fight he was winning up until that point. And then Ray Bork, while also beating Matt Schnell, Halion Paiva, Magomed Bubulatov, and then, he had the little weight miss scenario with Manel Kopp right there. So, I mean, it doesn't really make sense, in my opinion, why they're cutting Rogerio, because as far as my knowledge goes, the only fights he's really been missing weight or pulling out of has been Manel Kopp fights. So this kind of seems like a cursed fight for Rogerio Bontorin, and the curse continues as because of this fight with Manel Kopp that he missed weight on and he hurt his ankle on in the first fight that was supposed to happen in 2020, the fight just keeps on getting canceled over and over and over again. And somehow, at this point, after getting a split decision loss to Brandon Royval, a number 5 UFC flyweight in the world, Rogerio just gets cut from the UFC out of nowhere. I mean, this is insane. Rogerio just got cut from the UFC. Now, that's not it. It's not just the weight misses. It's not just the cancellations with Manel Kopp. But there's one more thing. Bontorin tested positive for a performance enhancer last June, but it was later determined that it was due to a tainted supplement. Now, again, we don't know if it was a tainted supplement. We don't know if he's doping. We don't know what the heck the case is. But somehow, I mean, the number 8 flyweight fighter in the world has just been cut from the UFC seemingly out of nowhere. Because, I mean, if they were going to cut them, you would think it'd be relatively soon after the Manel Kopp fight. Like, you would think, right? But they just cut him out of nowhere. Right now, in Friday, June 24th, they just randomly cut him from the UFC. I don't know why they're cutting him right now and not earlier, but that's what happened. Rogerio Bontorin cut from the UFC roster, and up comes Jeff Molina as the new number 15 flyweight fighter in the world. So that's what's happening in the news of the UFC flyweight division. Ben Askren suspects Kevin Holland is literally paying people to commit crimes. Now, this is a very interesting accusation, because if you haven't heard anything about Kevin Holland, and out of all of the Batman and Robin different stories of Kevin Holland tracking down criminals, taking them out, saving people, saving cats, taking down gunmen, all of the crazy things that Kevin Holland has been doing recently, if you haven't heard about any of that, you see this title right here. Ben Askren suspects Kevin Holland is giving money to people for actually committing crimes. You'd be like, what in the world is Ben Askren talking about? But we've heard plenty of times Kevin Holland just keeps on seeing crimes happen. He keeps on seeing the crimes happen, sees people with guns, seeing people rob people, sees cats in trees. He sees so many crazy things on what seems like a monthly basis that maybe Ben Askren has something here. Maybe Ben Askren is right. He says, I have never witnessed a crime in action and then tracking someone down. I haven't seen it ever happen. Now, he has had like 4 instances. How is that possible? He said in an interview with The Schmo right here. It's a 16-minute video. If you want to go watch it, Ben Askren reacts to Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. In that video, he talks about Kevin Holland is paying people to commit crimes. So Kevin Holland can come in like Batman, or like Kevin Holland calls himself, Black Man, and come in and save these people from all of these crimes that are taking place. So I don't know. I have a feeling, you never know with Kevin Holland. You never know with Ben Askren. You never know. He could be paying people to commit the crimes. It's a possibility. You never do know with this type of thing. But how has it happened so many times? I can think off the top of my head, like 5 different freaking times, Kevin Holland just keeps on stopping crime. It's absolutely insane. So what do you guys think about this scenario of Kevin Holland maybe paying people to commit crimes like Ben Askren is saying? Put your thoughts down below in the comments section. PFL 6 has a new main event, and it is absolutely horrible. Julia Budd, the former Bellator champion, is out of her fight with Kayla Harrison. That would have at least been decently competitive early on, and then Kayla probably would have destroyed her in the 2nd or 3rd round, but at least we have a Bellator and a PFL champion going against each other. Not anymore. Not anymore, guys. Kayla Harrison has a new opponent, and guess who it is? Caitlin freaking Young. This is the new main event for a PFL card. Not even joking. You have Rory McDonald. You got Magomed Karimov right there. You got Jarrah Al-Salawi, Magomed Omalatov. You have all of these fights, and yet they're going to put a freaking Caitlin Young in the main event? Does anyone know her record? 12 wins, 12 losses, and 1 draw. The girl literally lost to Leslie Smith by knockout, Raquel Canuto by unanimous decision, Julie Kedzie right there, and then recently lost to Mariana Moraes. Mariana Moraes couldn't even finish Cindy Dandois, and she also lost to Julia Budd. What is wrong with the PFL right now? How in the world is a pretty much losing record fighter in a main event fighting a girl that just won the $1 million like 3 times in the PFL? I don't know. And look at these Tapology predictions. I love it. I love it because it makes perfect sense. 100% of the vote going Kayla Harrison. I usually don't give betting advice to just regular subscribers or things like that. Usually only do it for the channel members. But honestly, as soon as these PFL odds come out for next week, like we already have them for this week, PFL week 5, but as soon as they come out for next week, which is probably going to be on Monday, later on in the day, as soon as those odds come out, I am dropping millions of dollars on Kayla Harrison. This is I don't like to use the word lock, but come on. Caitlin Young is not a finisher. It's not like she can go out there and knock out Kayla Harrison in the 1st or 2nd round. She knocked out who? freaking Sarah Patterson and Faith McMahon, a 6'4", 35-year-old lady, and then a 5'5" lady that I have no idea who this girl is. These are the girls she's finishing. Other than that, she's finishing nobodies early on in her career. She's not gonna win this fight. This is like right now, as soon as she comes out, every bet I make after that, I'm parlaying whoever I'm betting with Kayla Harrison, just to get from -110 to like -105. I'm just going to get that very, very slight edge in the betting odds, just a little bit better odds, and just put Kayla Harrison in every single parlay, because what in the world? What are you guys doing? PFL, what are you guys doing? Putting a 36-year-old, pretty much losing record fighter with Kayla freaking Harrison. What? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Even Julia Budd was a stupid fight. Like, even a fight with freaking Julia Budd, I still probably would have put like $1,000 on Kayla Harrison. I still probably would have done that. But now, freaking Caitlin Young, oh my god, easy freaking money is all I gotta say right there in the women's lightweight division. Bloody nose, indeed. Carla Esparza dismisses classless Jessica Andrade as a quote-unquote troll. The Cookie Monster won the Strawweight title from Rose Namajunas via split decision at UFC 274 in May. She's 2-0 against Rose Namajunas, beating her in 2015 with a submission to become the first ever Strawweight champion, then beat her by a split decision. Now, everyone is going after Esparza. They all want her. They're all talking about how boring of a fight that Carla Esparza had with Rose Namajunas. They're like, I would absolutely destroy you. You got Zhang Weili. You have Rose Namajunas maybe wanting a rematch. You got Jessica Andrade. I mean, you have so many people looking for this fight with Carla Esparza, and now we got Carla Esparza. Let's see what she says. I think she's just trying to shoot her shot and try to get the opportunity at the title again. Esparza told the MMA Junkie, for me, not to be rude or whatever, but she was super rude to me. So I just view her as a troll and I just blocked her. I'm not going to engage with her because to me, she's just annoying. I think that she's not the classiest of fighters. I just don't want to deal with her. So is Carla Esparza ducking Jessica Andrade? Because personally, I would happen to think if Jessica Andrade and Carla Esparza were to ever fight in MMA, I think it'd be a very, very close fight. I don't necessarily think Esparza's ducking her, but I don't know. I don't know what this means, because Carla Esparza, out of all of the people that are close to a title shot with Carla Esparza right now, I mean, like the easiest fight out of all of them, probably going to be Jessica Andrade, because you look at the other girls that are, petitioning for a title shot with Carla Esparza. Some of them she's beaten. Some of them she probably would beat, like a Marina Rodriguez, Mackenzie Dern, Yan Xiaonan, Jessica Andrade. She beats a lot of these girls, and she already beat Rose Namajunas. So if she were ducking Jessica Andrade, she would probably go for an easier fight than Jessica Andrade, not trying to fight Zhang Weili. So I don't personally think she's like ducking Jessica Andrade or anything. It just seems like she's injured or something like that, and she's probably gonna have to fight Zhang Weili. So I don't know why Andrade is really calling for a title shot when she got one win over a number 11 ranked Amanda Lemos. Doesn't really make sense for her to get a title shot. So I agree with Carla Esparza. You can kind of dismiss her a little bit because she's not really in the position to be asking for a title shot at this point in her MMA career. That the only person that really has the ability to ask for a title shot right now at strawweight is literally Zhang Weili. Zhang Weili is it. Marina Rodriguez, she can maybe call for an interim title fight with Zhang Weili, maybe even fight Rose Namajunas. There's all of that can happen, but there's no chance Jessica freaking Andrade should be asking for a title shot. So I kind of agree with Carla Esparza here, but what do you guys think? There's some people saying that Esparza is ducking Andrade, but I mean, if you're ducking Andrade, wouldn't you want an easier opponent? Not just to go to Zhang Weili or something like that. So I don't think she's ducking her. I think she's just like, come on. Jessica Andrade only beat Amanda Lemos recently. So, yeah, it does not make sense for either girl, in my opinion. Conor McGregor hints at a rematch with Floyd Money Mayweather. Now, he did not specify a date like 2023, 2024, 2022. He didn't really specify anything, but we do know the first fight made the UFC, Dana White, McGregor, Floyd Mayweather, boxing. It made a lot of money for many different people in combat sports, and that was back on August 26th of 2017. We might have a rematch incoming, May Mac 2 on the way, question mark. We have a post from the greatest fighter of all time himself, Conor McGregor, just putting a picture out there of McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. McGregor's laying a nice right hook to the body, and the only words he really puts in this post are, "I accept," which is a little bit weird because nothing has really been offered to Conor McGregor, but it seems like Conor just wants to make some money right now. He's looking for a Nate Diaz fight, a Dustin Poirier money fight, a Jorge Masvidal money fight, and maybe even another one with the money fight himself, Floyd Money Mayweather. So I don't know. Will this fight happen? No idea. Will McGregor shoot his shot and try to make it happen? Yes. Will Floyd want the fight to happen? Yes. But the question is, when will it happen? Because personally, the fight's going to happen. At one point or another this year, 2022, 2023, whatever the case may be, as soon as Conor McGregor retires from MMA, this is the fight that's going to happen. McGregor's going to come back, fight Jorge Masvidal, fight Poirier, fight Diaz, and then boom, they're going to do this fight. They have to do this fight. It's going to make so much money, especially a rematch with McGregor and Mayweather. If Mayweather's already somehow making a lot of money fighting the guys he's been fighting recently, like freaking Logan Paul, like Don Moore, if he's making money like that in those two fights, imagine the amount of money he's going to make in a Conor freaking McGregor rematch. So there's no way the fight does not happen. It is going to happen in 2022 or in 2023. It's just a matter of when will it happen and where will it happen and how much money will the damn pay-per-view cost, because I don't know if I want to buy it yet. But what do you guys think? Do you think Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor will rematch, and who do you think wins the rematch in the next year or two? Put your thoughts down below in the comments section. Zhang Weili, the time has come for me to dominate the women's strawweight division. Now, that is what Zhang Weili, the former UFC women's strawweight champion, has said after going out there and freaking starching Joanna Jędrzejczyk I believe it was in the second round. I mean, she looked absolutely freaking amazing in that fight. And yes, I know. She lost to Rose Namajunas twice. She got head kick knocked out in the first round. Then she lost a very, very controversial split decision in the second fight. But I'm going to be freaking honest with you. Zhang Weili will dominate this division. Like, when Zhang Weili says this, the time has come for me to dominate the strawweight division, I believe her, guys. I really do believe Zhang Weili right now. Zhang Weili would absolutely destroy Carla Esparza. Her wrestling looked absolutely amazing in her fight with Joanna Jędrzejczyk, so I believe she would destroy Carla. I believe if she were to have a rematch with Rose Namajunas, she would win that one as well. 3 rounds, 5 rounds, I don't care. She'd still win that trilogy bout with Rose Namajunas. Probably would. Marina Rodriguez, dude, she'd freaking destroy Marina. Mackenzie Dern, she'd whoop her. Yan Xiaonan, there's no threats to Zhang Weili right now. Every fighter in this women's strawweight division, I think Zhang Weili beats. I think Zhang Weili goes out there and destroys all of them, guys. I mean, I don't want to be saying this. I don't want to put this out prematurely, but freaking Zhang Weili could move up to flyweight, and not even joking, she can beat Valentina Shevchenko. After watching how bad the wrestling and grappling was from Valentina Shevchenko in her Taila Santos title fight at UFC Teixeira versus Prochazka, after watching that fight, Zhang Weili beats Valentina. I'm going to be honest with you. Zhang Weili wins that fight. Like, not even joking. It's a very, very favorable matchup for Zhang Weili. And so is every other fight. Like, in the women's flyweight division right now, she can beat everyone. Kaylin Chikagian. She can beat Taila Santos. Laura Murphy, Andrade, Grasso, Fioro. I think she beats everyone at flyweight. I think she beats everyone at strawweight. Dude, she can, like, the time has come for her to dominate the strawweight division. The time has come for you to dominate 2 weight classes. You're 32 years old. You're still in the prime of your MMA career. You still have plenty of years to continue to improve and continue to dominate strawweight and flyweight. Dude, change the strawweight division to the strawweight and flyweight division. Because, dude, you can dominate both divisions at once. I literally think you can win against every fighter in the top 15 at strawweight, every fighter in the top 15 at flyweight, and then, yeah, you get up to bantamweight. They're a little bit too big for you. But flyweight and strawweight, dude, Zhang Weili beats them all. Zhang, I believe this. I really, really do believe this. Zhang Weili will dominate the strawweight and flyweight division if she does choose to dominate that flyweight division. Because if she wants to, just play it safe and just stay in the strawweight division, just keep on racking up wins, try to become the greatest strawweight of all time, she can do so. She can try to do that, but I think a better course of action for Zhang Weili to really build her name, make buttloads of money on another Singapore event, fight friggin' Carla Esparza in Singapore, fight Valentina Shevchenko in Asia. Imagine how much money you're going to make. Imagine a double champion, Zhang Weili. What is that going to do for your legacy, for China, for whatever? Zhang Weili, you can literally dominate both divisions right now. Zhang Weili, double champion 2024. I think it's going to happen. Valentina bullied Andrade. Santos is way bigger than Zhang. That's true. She's a lot bigger than Zhang. But I'm not saying like right now, Zhang Weili goes up and fights Taila Santos and beats her. I'm saying if she puts on a little bit of weight, has a few months to work with, and then moves up to that strawweight division, yeah, I think she can beat Valentina. I think she can beat Taila Santos. All of those girls, because she can defend Taila Santos' takedowns and she can outstrike Taila Santos in their fight. But yeah, expresses a release of quitting stripping. What is this doing on here? Petr Yan calls out Deiveson Figueiredo, as a lot of people like to say, for the fall showdown. In fall, I don't really know when fall is. Don't call me stupid. I don't know. But Petr Yan wants to fight against Deiveson Figueiredo. I'm sure Deiveson probably would like to fight as well. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. When have you seen an actual champion of any division? I'm talking light heavyweight, middleweight, welterweight, lightweight. When have you seen any champion of one division move to another division to fight the number one contender? When has that happened? I've never seen that happen in my life. The flyweight champion move up to bantamweight to fight the number one contender, Petr Yan. Not going to happen, guys. There's zero chance of that physically happening in the UFC. It's just, there's no way. Yeah, I can see Kai Kara France, Brandon Moreno. They're probably going to fight. They're gonna it's going to happen at UFC 277 or whatever fight card that's going to be on for the interim title. Maybe Brandon Moreno wins. That's my prediction, at least. Brandon Moreno wins, okay? Then we get what would it be? Fourth fight with Brandon Moreno, Deiveson Figueiredo. Gonna make an even more amount of money for this flyweight division. Gonna build Deiveson Figueiredo's name up even more and say Figueiredo wins that fight. Now, even after that, why would he take a Petr Yan fight? Is my question. Why would he take on Petr Yan at this stage in his career? It's not going to be for a title. Petr Yan is the number one contender at bantamweight, and he's got fights that would make more money. A freaking Brandon Moreno quadrilogy, a Kai Kara France title fight, that are actual title fights, be a main event of a pay-per-view, rather than a random non-champion Petr Yan versus Deiveson Figueiredo. What is that going to help Deiveson Figueiredo out with? I understand Petr Yan wants it. That makes sense. That does make perfect sense. Petr Yan should be calling, telling Dana, telling Sean Shelby, I want Deiveson. Petr Yan knows what he's doing. He needs this fight. This is a perfect fight for Petr Yan, because if he wins this fight, beats the flyweight champion, all right, boom, he beat a champion, first off. That'll get him a title shot. Right now, the bantamweight division is filled with guys that already have fights. TJ's got a fight. Jose's got a fight. Sandhagen's got a fight. Vera's got a fight. Marat has a fight. Rob Font doesn't. But the whole bantamweight division already has fights. So for Petr Yan to be calling out the flyweight champion makes perfect sense. It's the perfect ideal situation for Petr Yan, not only to get him back in title contention with a win over a champion, Deiveson Figueiredo, but not only that, is there's no other guys at bantamweight that are looking for a fight with Petr Yan right now. I mean, you have Henry Cejudo, but Henry's not really... It doesn't look like he's too interested in the Petr Yan fight. So again, I'm going to say it again. Petr Yan, Deiveson Figueiredo is the perfect fight for Petr Yan. It is a horrible fight for Deiveson Figueiredo because it does a lot for Petr Yan. Petr Yan beats a champion, gets a title shot, gets a rematch with Aljo, gets a fight with TJ Dillashaw, whatever, for the UFC Bantamweight belt. Perfect for Petr Yan. For Deiveson Figueiredo, it does zero. It might make him a little bit of money, whatever the case may be. It might make him a little bit of a bigger star. Say he beats Petr Yan, that'll get him a title shot at Bantamweight. But it really doesn't do too much of anything. Because why would you take on a number one contender if you can fight for the belt at Flyweight against the interim champion, whoever that might be, Kai Kara France, or Brandon Moreno, win that fight, become the undisputed, undefeated, whatever the case may be, champion of the Flyweight division, then go on to fight Aljo, then go on to fight Cejudo for the belt. Why? I mean, it makes zero sense for Deiveson. It makes perfect sense for Petr Yan. So, what do you guys think? I mean, Petr Yan is smart. This is a good thing to call out because there's literally no fights at Bantamweight for him right now. But it's perfect for Petr Yan. It's horrible for Deiveson Figueiredo. But we shall see. No one at 135 wants it. Figgy? Question mark. Deiveson Figueiredo? Question mark. Makes perfect sense for Petr. Makes no sense for Deiveson Figueiredo. What do you guys think will happen? Do you think Petr Yan, Deiveson Figueiredo happens in the UFC's, what is this? The UFC Bantamweight, Flyweight, whatever division is going to happen is. Do you think the fight happens? Put your thoughts down below in the comments section. Bobby Green is out of his fight with Jim Miller at UFC 276. And boom, out of nowhere, we have Donald Cerrone having his cancellation as well with Joe Lozon due to whatever was happening with the knee of Joe Lozon. Then a few months ago, we had the food poisoning or whatever with Donald Cerrone. Now, oh my God, out of nowhere, we have the two guys in the UFC with some of the most wins and some of the most fights ever in the UFC octagon, reportedly fighting each other on the main freaking card of UFC 276. Now, it's not official. I've heard some news that it could be this third to last fight on the pay-per-view of UFC 276. It could also be the prelim opener, because I don't understand why they would have O'Malley and Munoz on the prelims, but there's been talks about putting O'Malley on the main card and bringing Cerrone, Jim Miller onto the prelims. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. All that really does matter is we're going to have Donald Cerrone and Jim Miller, two guys with some huge records in the UFC right now. If we go on to the UFC website, the official UFC website, and we look at all the what was it? All the awards and things like that, all the records that both of these guys have, there is a lot of records for both Jim Miller and freaking Donald Cerrone. They have so many wins together. They have so many fights together. It is just absolutely insane. Jim Miller has the most fights in UFC history. 39 fights in the UFC octagon. This will be his 40th fight inside of the UFC against Donald Cerrone. It'll be Donald Cerrone's 38th fight in the UFC. Diego Sanchez out of the UFC. I mean, Javier Dos Anjos, Charles Oliveira, Andrei Arlovski, these guys are still in the UFC. They have chances to catch up to Jim Miller and Donald Cerrone. But right now, we have two guys that are in the top 3 of most fights ever in the UFC that are trying to fight each other. Not only the most fights ever, but the most freaking wins. You have Andrei Arlovski at 23 wins. You have Donald Cerrone at 23 wins. You have Jim Miller at 23 wins. So whoever wins this fight at UFC 276 will be the UFC fighter with the most wins ever in UFC history. In UFC history. This means a lot for the UFC welterweight, lightweight, whatever division it's going to be in, because I don't know. I don't know if they're going to switch it or not. Could be a catchweight for all I know. But, I mean, the only guy that, after this that really has a good chance of catching either Jim Miller or Donald Cerrone is maybe John Jones, Dustin Poirier, Javier Dos Anjos, Charles Oliveira. They all have good chances of catching Jim Miller, Donald Cerrone. Even Andrei Arlovski could catch them. But this would do a lot. For Cerrone and Jim Miller, this will put them at that number 1 spot by themselves at 24 wins inside of the UFC. Not to mention, we got another one. I mean, I told you, there's a lot of freaking records that both of these guys have. We got another one right here with freaking Jim Miller at 15 finishes and Donald Cerrone at 16 finishes. So not only is it the total fights, not only is it the amount of wins, but it's the amount of freaking finishes. The number 2 and number 3 guys in the UFC with the most finishes ever, behind only the UFC lightweight champion, Charles Oliveira, is Jim Miller, Donald Cerrone. So again, this one, Jim Miller can tie Donald Cerrone for most finishes. He can also beat Donald Cerrone in terms of most wins, and he can also just secure the most wins and the most fights in the UFC all at the same time if he goes out there and finishes Donald Cerrone in this fight. This has such huge complications for the record books. Such huge complications. Not only is that, what if Jim Miller gets a damn submission? That puts him tied for number 2 all-time most submission wins in the UFC. Ever. And decision wins, I mean, it's obvious none of those two guys are going to be on that list. Title fight, not going to be there. Win streak, not going to be there. But another one. A goddamn another one. Total fight night bonuses. If Donald Cerrone wins this fight and it's another fight night bonus, then boom. Donald Cerrone is on top of the world at the number 1 officially. I mean, you still got Oliveira there. But this would put him securely at number 1 ever. Number 1 ever in the UFC lightweight, welterweight, whatever the case may be, divisions. And he'll pass Charles Oliveira because right now they're tied. That's another thing going for these guys. Not only that, but we have freaking Jim Miller at number 7 in most fight time in UFC history for the men. The total fight time ever right there is Jim Miller at number 7 with 6 hours, 21 minutes, and 24 seconds. If this fight goes past 2 rounds, Jim Miller is in the top 5 of all time for most fight time in the UFC octagon. If this fight just only goes for 2 rounds. If it goes to a decision, he's securely at number 5. He has 1 or 2 more fights. He can go all the way up to number 3. I mean, he's probably not going to fight those. He's not going to catch Dos Anjos or Edgar. But this has such huge implications. Not only that, there might be even one more. Control time percentage. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be on any of these other ones, but they're already on so many things so far that, I mean, yeah, there's another one. Knockdowns. There is a damn another one right there. Donald Cerrone at 20 knockdowns in the UFC. I mean, these guys have so many records themselves. If Cerrone can go out there and knock down Jim Miller in this fight as well, that'll put him again at the top of another leaderboard. Another one. And then here's another. Here, probably the last one. I mean, this has to be the last thing that either Donald Cerrone and Jim Miller are on the top of in terms of these record books. But significant strikes landed. Donald Cerrone could potentially in this fight with Jim Miller go all the way up to number 2. He could have the second most significant strikes ever in the UFC octagon against Jim Miller in this fight. Dude, it's insane. It is insane. I think that's probably going to be it. Total strikes landed. He's probably on here as well. I would not be surprised. He's not on there, but Jesus, how many damn records? There's another one. Submission attempts for Jim Miller. He's on top at 45. Dude, what in the damn world? What in the world? We have submission attempts. Jim Miller's on there. We have total strikes landed. Total significant strikes landed. We got freaking Donald Cerrone at number 4. We got knockdowns landed. Donald Cerrone is at number 1. We have, where was it? We have total fight time with Jim Miller at 6 hours, 21 minutes and could move to the number 5 most time spent in the UFC octagon all time. If this fight goes far enough, he can just go way up the rankings right here. We have the total fight night bonuses with Jim Miller at number 6 and Donald Cerrone at number 1. We have title fight wins, they're not on there. Win streak, they're not on there. Decision wins, submission wins. You got Jim Miller there. He could tie for number 2 if he can go out there and submit Donald Cerrone. We have KO wins where Donald Cerrone is at number 6. We have finishes where Donald Cerrone is at number 2. Jim Miller's at number 3. We have total fights where Jim Miller's at number 1, Donald Cerrone's at number 3, and we have wins where Jim Miller, Donald Cerrone are tied at number 1. Holy freaking shnikes. There's just so many things going for this fight. And I don't know who's going to win. I mean, there's so many records that can be changed, and all the records and history of the UFC can just be like flipped everywhere after this fight, because these are two guys that are at the top of so many damn records. It's insane. It is insane. But what do you guys think happens in this fight? Who do you guys have winning, Donald Cerrone or Jim Miller at UFC 276? And what records do you think are going to get broken, destroyed, moved around, whatever the case may be? Put your thoughts down below in the comment section. But yeah, that is it for today's MMA news. We have Ben Askren suspecting Kevin Holland is literally paying people to commit crimes. Again, still a weird story to talk about. We have Esparza dismissing classless Jessica Andrade as a troll, talking about Jessica Andrade doesn't deserve a title shot. She's very rude, whatever the case may be. If you want to watch that one, you definitely can. We have McGregor wanting a rematch with Floyd Money Mayweather, 2023-2024. We have Rogerio Bontorin getting cut from the UFC. We have Kayla Harrison fighting a pretty much losing record fighter in Caitlin Young in a PFL main event, with Aljamain Sterling wanting Henry Cejudo to literally beg Aljamain Snoozling for a title shot. We have Zhang Weili dominating the women's strawweight division, like she said, but in my opinion, dominating not only the strawweight division, but the flyweight division as well. We have Petr Yan calling out Deiveson Figueiredo, which is insane because makes perfect sense for Petr Yan. Makes no sense for Deiveson Figueiredo, but we still have that. And then we have the two winningest, most fights in the UFC. I mean, so many records combined with these guys. Bobby Green getting out of that fight. And then we have Donald Cerrone, Jim Miller at UFC 276. There's such crazy news happening today and yesterday and things like that. I mean, there's so many stories that we just went over that have huge implications for the UFC, Bellator, PFL, whatever the case may be. But if you like those stories, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Let's go.